Okay, on the bench today we have an original Xbox. It's the Crystal version and it has no power. Let's confirm that. If I press the power button, I get nothing, and same with the eject. I've already taken the screws out of this one. We have one under that label there and underneath the upper feet. Oh no, I'll put one back in. Bear with me a second here. I believe it'll be a T20. I think it was just the one I put back in. Yep. Just hold it together. Flip it back over and lift it up. There we go. Alright. Get all this out of the way. Got all the stuff. I already had it open and unplugged everything. There's also there's a screw either side of the drive, and there's one on top, just sits underneath the IDE cable. Right, so we've got it open, it's plugged in, and like I say, no power. So I'm going to check. Negative lead in there, and we'll see what voltage we get from the power supply. Okay, we've got 5 volts. 5 volts. 5 volts. We've got blue 3.3. And this yellow. Nope. Awkward getting into these. So we've got 5 volts and we've got 3.3. These ones here are for the switches at the front, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, we've got 3.3. Right, if I push the power button, now you can see that on the mirror. Push the power button and it goes to 0. So that's working fine. Go to the other one, leave this as eject. Making contact here. This one. Yeah, it's that one that's eject. That's the second one along, nearest to me. Yeah, so they're fine. The power supply, which I'm just going to unplug just now. It's a working supply because I've tested it on another machine. So no, it's not the supply that's a problem. So I'm thinking at this stage that it's probably capacitors on the board that are an issue. It's a fairly common failure point. I've also removed the screws. Come on. From the main board. Just various screws, T10s. actually a bit harder removing this with the screws out, so I'm going to hold the board at the same time. These ones here are for the control ports. Set them out. Part of the reason for just taking it apart in advance, one, to save a bit of time, and two, I've recently done an Xbox video which showed all the screws being removed, etc. No point in rehashing all that. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap the whole board. Replace everything, hopefully. That should get the machine going again. Alright, so excuse me, I think I'll start with this area here. We do have all the necessary caps somewhere. Alright, okay, I'll dig out these caps and we'll get started. Right, okay, these 5 here are all 3300 microfarad, so we're going to start with those. And hopefully these should all come out quite easily. Just going to walk them out the board, they're easy enough to get a hold of. Just let a little bit of solder. Should come out a bit easier with that. And we'll use a solder wick just to clean up the holes, which were here. Go. Give that a clean. Right, got our capacitor. Negative stripe to the negative side, which is marked on the PCB. We'll solder in. Right, so basically I'm just going to go through every capacitor on the board, doing the same thing, get them all replaced, and then we'll partially reassemble and give it a test, and hopefully that does prove to be the problem. I'll be back once I've got this done. Right, okay, we're back. The board's back in the chassis. I replaced all the capacitors. Didn't have a super capacitor to replace the one on the board. Normally that's not really an issue in the 1.6 because of better quality, but the machine still wasn't powered on, and the only capacitor that I hadn't changed was the clock one. So I had a little look online, and there's a bypass that you can do so that you can remove it, because on the 1.6 if you remove the capacitor you can't leave it off, the machine won't boot. And that was more or less what was happening with this machine. It just wouldn't boot on, even though the standby voltages and everything was present. It wouldn't boot up. So I've done the mod. I'll put pictures on the screen just now so you can see what was done. Basically, there's two resistors on the back, where pretty much where the clock capacitor is. It's R7P3 and R7P6. They need removed for the board, and then you run, as you'll see there, I've run a wire. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit. Be able to see it better. Move that across. So that's a wire running from the positive side of where the clock capacitor would be, and you're linking that up to basically standby voltage from the collector of Q7C2, small transistor sitting just there, and that's basically it. The machine will now power on. Obviously, like the earlier models with the clock capacitor removed, you'd have to put the time and date in, or you just do what everybody else would do and that's just skip past it. I'll plug this in just now, just to double check before I piece everything back together and put all the screws in. And there we go. The machine's coming on with the power button, switch it off, and it will also power on if I tap the eject button. So we will give it an actual test when it's pieced back together. Make sure everything's coming up on the screen. See why it wouldn't. So I'll put this back together and then we'll come back for further test. Right, okay, that's everything done, console piece back together, so we're just going to give it a little test. Hopefully you'll be able to see that screen okay. Plug this in. Control it. Oops. So that's AV. Okay, and let's give it a test. Oh. Just switch that off again instead of hitting eject. The skin. Right, and it's on the time and date because we've removed the super cap. Switch this so you see it better. It'll ask for this every time the console's switched on. Looking good so far. Right, okay, I'm happy with that. No bother playing a game. The console's working away fine. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. So what did we do to the console? Well, we replaced all the capacitors on the main board. I also replaced the capacitors on the power supply. They're a fair age now, and even the best quality capacitors don't live forever. So it was worthwhile from a maintenance point of view, just getting them replaced, and then I'll no longer have to worry about them. The only one I didn't have the replacement for was the clock capacitor. Now with this version, the 1.6 version of the console, it needs the clock capacitor to even switch on. Luckily, I found online a little modification that can be done on the board. Removing a couple of resistors and putting a link wire in means that you can leave the clock capacitor out. So I just did that. The only effect it's having is the time and date. When you switch it on, you have to press a button to skip past that. So it's not really an issue. So I think I'll be keeping this one as my own personal console. One that's newer compared to the black one that I have, and also I have a spare power supply for this version. So yeah, I'll be hanging on to this one, and it looks better. I'll just have to get myself a crystal controller, original controller, rather than that cheap and nasty third party thing that I'm using just now. But yeah, so that's all done. If you liked this video, then please click the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, then do subscribe to the channel, and if you click the bell notification icon, You'll be notified anytime I upload any new content. Thanks for watching.